I'm the worst, guys. Oh no, can I accept all? Okay. I am the worst. I'm so sorry this happened, guys. Little did I know there was an accept all button as well. I was just spam clicking that. Joe, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I forget what I said.
Yeah. I forget what I asked, honestly. I'm a really good listener.
So you were asking about, is Rentometer pretty accurate with the rental rates? And I was just saying that I think the nicer the property is finish-wise, you can really get the top of the market rental rates.
Right.
I'm putting the new link up. I mean, not that it matters for you guys, but like I'm gonna post it on the Facebook. Once again, sorry guys. Okay, so another thing that's great about our market, guys, we have one of the largest nonprofit RIAs in the country. I mean, we're at 730 members. And I'm sure, with this economic downturn, we're probably going to get down into the 500s. I fully expect we'll be at like 520, 530. But that's, I don't know, realtor count right now went down from 5,200 to 3,900, 25% down. That's crazy. And you got to think title companies are going to take a hit too. We're going to lose a lot of lenders, but you got to think everything's going to become more professional. And then if you have a bunch of people that have to have a $700 or 700 credit score to get in to these properties, I mean, we're going to be able to buy a bunch of stuff up, guys. Mm-hmm. There's going to be so much value out there. And everything was pretty reasonable. I mean, Joe has you have 4 projects you're working on right now?
Yeah, I think it's screaming opportunity for me. I mean, you get all these realtors that are getting out of the game. It leaves more opportunities for any realtors that's still working, that still has their license to go out and sell more deals. As long as there's, as long as investors are not getting scared and are still flipping properties, which honestly, I think now is the best time to buy.
And it might seem like I made up that 25% number, but it just so happened. March 31st, our dues were due. So April 1st, was a cutoff. Well, I heard a rumor that since they lost 25% of the agents, they extended it to the end of April. So maybe there were some people who just forgot. But I think, do you really want to pay $1,000 right now for something you're not using? In this climate, I don't know. So our RIA is awesome. We just have a ton of resources. So if you are an out-of-state person and you're going to be coming into town when we're allowed doing all these things, stack it on a Wednesday, Thursday. There's a Wednesday luncheon put on by Hampton Skurlock and Todd Hunter. Sorry. I drank the Diet Coke and then I was talking so fast. And that's on Wednesday. And then usually there's a big Wednesday meetup. Either my Choose FI meetup, which is less popular because it's about financial independence, not necessarily real estate. But Raphael and Luke have a great meetup on Wednesday night, the night before RIA. And that's about 120 people. And it's usually a young group that kill it. But the RIA is on Thursday. So you can stack and have just a ton of networking, ton of synergy. I think it's a real resource. So I would stack. That's the fourth Wednesday and Thursday of the month. That's when you should come in town if you're an out-of-stater. We went down from 43 to 29. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm the worst. Once again. Okay. So, Joe, you're saying that you, being local, boots on the ground, you're still sourcing a bunch of your deals from the MLS.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Rob, you and I put an offer in, a week ago. It was a deal on the MLS, and I think they were asking 79. We could have rented that for 950, all day. And we were stupid. I mean, we should have offered more. We just lowballed just to see.
We would have got it.
They ended up taking somebody else's offer. But if I could do all over again, I would have offered, full asking price, because we would have cash flowed. I mean, it was a great house. Everything was new.
I have a client named Steve Madzig. And Steve bought a duplex on Cecil Avenue for $60,000. Each side rents for $750. It's fully rented. Guys, that's over a 2% return on your money. And that was found on the MLS. Not only that, that was on the MLS for like 40 days. This one had a price reduction, the one we were going to offer on.
Yep.
A price reduction. The deals are out there. And then, of course, I have that thing called the Louisville Network, where I help wholesalers unload their assignable contracts. And that's a good way to find off-market deals. I mean, that's probably how a lot of you even found this call, is from the Louisville Network. It's been a good resource. I think it's pretty awesome. And you're going to start, Joe's going for a lot more multifamily. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot more multifamily. And like I said, Joe partners with out-of-state people. So if you have questions, Joe is a wealth of information. It's worth your time to talk to Joe. Joe Worth. Okay, that was bad. Okay, Eric is saying, anyone having any problems with low tenants not paying rents at the moment? Joe, do you have any problems with that right now?
So all of our tenants have paid on time. Minus one, we had all of our tenants paid on time. We had one guy who was he let me know the day before rent was due, of course, 1 day in advance, that he wasn't going to be able to pay rent. And, I basically just told him, I said, hey, man, I mean, rent's still due. We still got bills to pay. Let's figure out how we can work this out. So I ended up sending him a bunch of resources. He filed for unemployment, and he ended up getting me all the money, about a week late. But I haven't had as many issues as other investors that have a lot more units. I've only got, a couple. So I'm sure there's other investors out there that have, taken different approaches or have had more issues, but we've been pretty lucky so far.
I had an excellent call with Luke Neubauer. Luke's the man. Everybody likes him. He's basically the mayor. And Luke said he didn't lose any of his rent. He collected 100% of his rent, which, who knows how long this will go, but, that's a good start. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jason, I'm 99% sure April 30 or March 31st is true everywhere, because my buddy Tim Settles, who's a great agent in Cincinnati and Dayton and Northern Kentucky, killing it. He's licensed there, and I talked to him about that, and he mentioned that he also had that fee. So maybe Ohio and Kentucky. Let's see. Joe, what type of investment properties do you even look for?
That's a really good question. I mean, I really like to look at properties that have some type of value add, and that are in areas where appreciation is going to be really good, and it's also going to cash flow. So if I'm going to keep a property as a rental, that's exactly what I'm looking for. We bought a property over in Shelby Park for $55,000 last May, and we built in about $60,000 in equity after we were finished with it. And it's an Airbnb right now, obviously, so it's not cash flowing right now, but once Airbnb comes back and that market comes back, we're going to be cash flowing crazy on it. But I really like those. I like the small multis, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. We're actually working on a property over in the Highlands right now, like right on the edge of the Highlands, that we're converting to a triplex. It was a single family, and we're going to house hack it. So we're going to get a 20 or 30 year fix on it and live in it and rent out the other two, and we'll live there for free, if not cash flow a little bit. Then we'll rent out the duplex we're currently living in, and we'll cash flow crazy on this one too. So I really like
those units too. One of those units too, if you wanted.
Say that again.
You could Airbnb one of those units in the triplex if you wanted to.
Oh, we are the basement. We're gonna Airbnb that one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I really look for value add properties where we can, get in the property pretty cheaply. Do a lot of work to fix it up, and then we just have a bunch of built-in equity. So we're all about trying to minimize how much of our own cash we have to put out there. So we look for private lenders who are going to fund, the entire property and the rehab, or if we have to put 10% down, we will do that with hard money lenders. But those are the ones, just because we like to focus on more deals, and we're also doing some wholesaling, so we have some overhead costs of that as well. And but I hope that answers your question. But
and what other zip codes are you liking? So 40204 is where you're at right now on that one.
203, 204. I would honestly get some rentals over in the South End as well. I like the South End a lot. We did a flip over there and did really well on it. like I said, areas that appreciate, I stay away from the, 40210, 211, and 212 just because you get great cash flow over there, but the appreciation just isn't there yet. And I don't know if the appreciation will ever be there. I know that the city's trying to do a lot of development over there and, incentivizing investments over there, but it's just not something that I'm really focusing on right now.
And that's where the risk is too, where if it sits vacant, your HVAC or your water heater might walk out of the building. And then another thing is back in 1937, that used to be where like all the money was. You have Shawnee Golf Course. It was really bougie, really rich. And those houses are huge. And so moving into those houses, your rehab costs are going to be pretty large because they're just so big. I mean, you'd rather have that ranch slab, 1,200, probably crawl space, honestly, but and just be able to turn that over really quick. Let's see. In South End, could you name some cities that you're talking about, like PRP?
Like Beachmont is a great area.
I love Beachmont. Fifth Street.
Yep. Wyandotte, that's a really good rental area as well.
We got a good one coming up there.
We do.
Joe, how much are you getting that one for?
Is it 35?
35, and the after repair value on this guy is like 130, 120. And if
we're gonna add a master suite upstairs and a bathroom, so it's really gonna increase the value of it. Value add right there. I love adding bedrooms and adding bathrooms where we can.
And it was just a hoarder house. Like, it's not a bad house. It just has a ton of junk in it.
Yep.
And we got that one off the MLS. Go figure. Joe, tell them about. Oh, go ahead, Skippy. It's funny to say that. Did you have something to say, Skippy?
Risk mitigation.
Yes. Building in that cushion is really important. Joe, why don't you tell them about the flip that we have closing Goodwilling this week? Joe and his fiance, Kim, do a wonderful job. This one's on Morgan Ave. Tell them about what happened on that one.
Yeah. So this property, I found myself off market just driving for dollars, man. If anybody's looking to, first is looking to get into real estate, driving for dollars is a great, inexpensive way to start doing it. I found this property driving for dollars. We bought it for 58. Put about 35 in it, and we're selling it for 146 now. We listed it for 139, and we had, what did we have, like 8 or 10 offers on it?
I think we had 9 offers.
Yeah, so obviously we called highest and best, and we ended up getting under contract for 149. It didn't appraise, so we challenged the appraisal. Didn't work out, but Rob did a great job of negotiating with the buyer's agent, and they're willing to eat half the closing costs now, and also the buyer's agent is also going to pay for the home warranty out of his commission, which is awesome.
Yeah, we can. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And guys, but that just speaks. I had it pulled up earlier. When I'm in my 6th year of real estate, and when I joined, we were at, I don't know, like 5,500 houses on the market. And if you were to look right now on the MLS, we're looking at 2,230 single family homes. We're at half the inventory. Spoiler, I've got this presentation coming up for the CREA meeting. 28% of the houses in the United States that were on the market got pulled because of the coronavirus. Because people didn't want other people going through their houses, or they didn't feel safe going into other people's houses or whatnot. So our inventory is so low, but everyone's frozen. So now's the time to write lowball offers. Just throw them out there. Say, hey, get back to me if this makes sense for you in a week or two. And you know what? Andrew Slag, he'll attest. We just had someone 5 weeks ago. We put a lowball offer in, and they said no, and then they came back to us, which is a real treat.
There's a couple of questions that I want to look at and get to. Jonathan Farber asks, any other favorite zips? 40213, 40214, 40215, 40216. I like all the zip codes other than 40210, 40211, and 40212. I look at every deal. It doesn't matter. Obviously, if I'm buying a rental, I prefer it be, roughly in the same area, just, if we're having to go from property to property. But I'm not picky on my zip code right now. I'm young, I'm starting out, so I'm willing to do what I have to do to get a deal. And I look at every deal that comes across my computer screen.
And I'm so glad you say that, because I think people think I'm full of full of crap. Because I tell them, it's like, there's not a lot of places I wouldn't buy in Louisville. Like, I think our market is just awesome, guys.
I love Louisville. I mean, you can get properties, pretty inexpensively, and you can get some pretty good rental rates. And the appreciation, it's always, steady. What is it, like 3% appreciation?
It has been, yeah. We're the moniker is we're like a turtle, slow to rise, slow to fall. But we have so much movement. So you have like Germantown and Shelby Park, where the houses are traditionally shotgun, small single-family houses. Well, now you have Shively, which is like 3-bedroom bricks that are just dated. They're getting turned over. My neighborhood, Hikes Point, same thing, a little bit bigger footprint that's getting turned over. So J-Town's the same way. Fern Creek, there's a changing of the guard and a lot of young money. I mean, we're so affordable relative to a lot of these other cities. So the big thing that Louisville needs to do is we need to continue to focus on tech jobs. We're actually becoming a really big hub for data analysis, and data is the number one commodity in the world, behind energy. So go figure, most of our data is on energy. I'm real excited, guys. And El Toro is going to be great. There's rumors that we might be one of the top candidates for the Tesla trucks, because we're creating this cool thing between Louisville, Cincinnati, and Columbus. We're this big little connection. And Louisville's within 60% of the United States. Within 6 hours is 60% of the United States. So we have some of the freshest seafood in the country. Weird, right? But it's cool. And the second largest independent restaurant scene in the country. There's a lot to like about Louisville. Chuck Burke is saying 1 out of 10 aren't paying right now. They're waiting for unemployment, but they owe. Okay, so he's doing pretty good. John Sherwood out of Chicago. Met John at the Bigger Pockets conference. Great for networking, a real treat. You mentioned cash flow on a finished property, and I know you flip. Wondering what your approach is with the 70% ARV rule versus just straight cash flow. Do you focus on cash flow or cash on cash return?
Cash on cash return. Obviously, so we look at properties, we look at both. So I want to make at least $200 cash flow per door. So if I have a single family property, I want to make $200 cash flow, and I also want to get at least a 20% cash on cash return.
Guys, I'm single, and I was talking to this girl on Tinder, swiping right. And I used to sell 3 houses a year off Tinder, and I used to be way fatter, still as short as I was, or am. But I was talking about it. It's like, hey, just imagine having a rental. Your cell phone bill's paid off, and then you get another rental. And then now you get to go out to dinner 4 times a week, and you don't even worry about it. And then you keep on. I was like, some people just don't understand how money stacks, and it's all awesome. And Joe's growing at a quick rate, and he's leveraging, and he's working with the right people. I mean, and Joe's had some hiccups too. I mean, you maybe trust the wrong people with your assets or your money or whatever. Everybody makes mistakes, but the idea of being in the club and getting to know all these people is we're not going to make the same mistakes twice. And shameful plug again, tomorrow, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then, is I want you all to learn from everyone's mistakes. So I know Joe's going to come on there, Luke Neubauer, Brett Grigsby. I mean, I want to see your stories. Just send me a private message, and then if it looks appropriate, I'll put you on. I want people to learn. I think it'll be fun. I'm tired. I like this. This is so relational. I'm talking too much, but okay. Favorite tips. Okay, so Chuck also thinks that Smoketown's going to be a real treat too. Smoketown's cool because it connects us to Nulu, and Nulu is connected to downtown. So I'm going to get on my soapbox real quick. And okay, so there's this guy named Gil Holland who just bought a house in the Highlands, and he's just tearing it up, renovating the whole thing on Longest Avenue. It's going to be nice. But he created, okay, so you have downtown, and then there was Nulu, and then there was Bardstown. Bardstown, trendy, hip, downtown's downtown. So what he did is he kind of created this area that was like a slaughterhouse, like, some older properties, and connected it and created Nulu. So he's trying to do the same thing in Portland. But the problem with that is it's like 4 times as big. And then like people like Dennis Earhart own like all these properties. And so there's not really going to be a pride of ownership. They're all rentals. So I think the change is slower. We just added a national track and field. We're adding the waterfront across. We're also expanding the park across in Indiana. I think there's maybe a new grocery store going in, I read, or I know Walmart pulled out. There's a new learning center in Shawnee. There's a lot of stuff happening there. It's just going to be slower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I were to ever invest over in Portland, it would need to be I wouldn't want to do a complete rehab. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to pour all that money into a property. I'd have to get it pretty cheaply and have good bones and have some, it'd have to be an easy rehab. I wouldn't want, like I said, I wouldn't want to gut everything down the studs and redo everything, do foundation over there. I think it's just too early for me to do something like that. But
2 of our last 8 lots were over there, and they had properties pending on 39th Street for 170 and 200, which I'm like, where did they find these comparables for these appraisals? But guys, it's just changing. I think one of my clients
buying everywhere.
That they only invest north of Market Street. That's something that they tell me, and I'm like, okay, I'll pass it along.
Yep. But Chuck Burke, I do agree, Smoketown. I mean, our duplex right now is right on the edge of Old Louisville and Smoketown, and I love Smoketown. Shelby Park's getting a little bit too expensive now to buy even rundown houses. So Smoketown is that good area between Shelby Park and downtown New Louisville. I love it.
I'm sending out a property on Thursday in Shelby Park for less than $80,000.
All right, I'll look at it.
On Kentucky.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, I know you will. But no, I agree with him. And then Joe did a great job buying too, because they just put in this thing called Paristown Point, and they in the winter they put out an ice skating rink, and there's this nice coffee shop, but there's a new concert venue, which is probably getting killed right now with the way everything's going. But it's going to be awesome, and that area is just going to grow and grow. I mean, gosh, Louisville's awesome, guys. Honestly, I like Lexington. I like Indianapolis. I like Dayton. I like Cincinnati. I like Northern Kentucky. I think the whole region as a whole is just awesome.
Region.
Yeah. Skippy, anyone in Kentucky know how I can get a permit to host in a commercial space? What are you wanting to host, Airbnb or events? Cool.
Well, I do know that Airbnb-wise, if your property is zoned commercial, you don't need a permit. You don't need to go through the whole permitting process.
Oh, I think he made a joke about a brothel. I actually had a listing that was a brothel. I found out it was a brothel and had to release the country.
They keep shutting me down here.
I go figure. Mason, Joe, what rates are you looking at in regards to hard money?
So right now with the traditional hard money lenders, we're getting 10%. So for private lenders, it depends on how much they're willing to lend, but I look for anywhere between 8 and 12.
What are you putting down on those? 10%?
With the hard money lenders, I put 10% of purchase price down. I've had private lenders that fund the entire deal. It's like our property in Shelby Park. My investor funded everything. We refinanced him out of it. He was happy. We were happy. So, I'm really conservative about the deals that I'm doing. I really look for value adds. So it's really hard for an investor to lose out any deals that they invest with me.
Troy is asking, what are days on market looking like on the MLS? Well, okay, so right now, 52 days on market. But honestly, those are just the statistics we have. So that's going to change quite a bit. I mean, I have a quad right now. We're not letting anybody in, so they have to make sight unseen offers. So that's killing us on days on market, but we can't really do anything. We don't want to disturb the tenants and then have them leave and then, be stuck with it. But some of the deals, guys, you just got to analyze deals. First thing I would do, go look it up, find it on the MLS. I set people up on drips. So I have this little formula I do, and then Joe's on it. And then he analyzes the deal. He'll go to Rentometer. He'll ask me for comps. And then if you have a property management, send it to property management, make sure Rentometer numbers look good. And then you should be able to hit the 1% rule really easy in our market. I mean, I'm not doing my job if you're not hitting it. And it sounds crazy that MLS has these kind of deals, but we sure do. And they exist. They're all out there.
I think people that are out of state that are looking to invest and look at, properties that are on the market, if you can get Rob or you can get somebody else out to go do a showing at the property and just do a video walkthrough for you, because obviously you can see the pictures in the MLS, but a video walkthrough really allows you to see the entire picture of the house, not just pictures, but the entire scene of the house. I think that'll be a big key, if you can find some local to do that for you.
Well, and the way our market's moving too is unlike a lot of these finished property. I mean, the vacant's not so bad, but the ones where people live in them, you're seeing a lot more like Matterport, where you have the virtual walkthrough. You just click, kind of like Google Maps. And speaking of Google Maps, John Sherwood out of Chicago. John, people are doing virtual driving for dollars, so it can be done anywhere. Yeah.
Deal Machine has that capability in their app.
I actually didn't know that. Good for them. Even though I have a better app that just hasn't been made yet. If you guys know any developers, I'd love to knock that out. It's way better. Girl Scouts. Okay. Do you door knock or use a different strategy after you drive for dollars?
I don't actually knock on the doors. I'll just, I use the Deal Machine app, and I'll ping each property that looks like distressed, run down, or maybe it's got an absentee owner in it. And then I'll download the entire list. I'll format it and send it off to my skip tracing company, and then I'll call them. I can knock out, a good amount of leads, a couple of hours in the morning. And I think now's a really good time to start making calls because people are motivated now more than ever.
And I was going to say now would be a great time to door knock, but you'll probably freak people out. Troy mentions 40206 is also a zip code that's worked really well. And our good friend Luke Neubauer, redhead, if you ever see him, he's the redhead. He made all of his money buying over there. He bought right on so many deals over there. He killed it. I mean, and you're seeing properties that you could buy for 75. Now they're worth 250. I mean, crazy gains because there's nowhere to build in Louisville, and then everything's, if there are new builds, they're going out rural because there's no plots.
Yeah, talk about an area that has appreciation. I mean, 40206 is a great area.
You got one over there on William Street, right?
I got one on William. Yep. That's an 06.
Frank Miller said something very kind about you and I, Joe, and being a rock stars in our local market. Frank Miller's the man. Frank's former CREA president. He's on the board with me as well, and he taught Joe a lot of what he did. Tell him about
Frank. Yep, Frank's the man. Frank has taught my fiance Kim and I everything that we know. He's our biggest mentor in real estate. He actually has a local class for anybody that's local on the call. He does have a local mentoring program that he puts on for local students. And
I work with a lot of Frank's people that have gone through his class, and I run comps for him. I see how much money they make at closing. And he teaches you how to find deals too with wholesales. Frank's the man.
Yeah, and seriously, the education that you get from it, I mean, it's really hard to not get a deal out of taking his class. He's just a great guy, and he really mentors students the way they need to be mentored.
Chuck is saying the far east side of Portland, the warehouse district, is a good place to look. I'd agree. No, but north part too. It's downtown west. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of wineries and breweries starting to take over some of that space. I have something interesting coming up over there commercial wise, but I'm not allowed to talk about it, I think. Okay, so John's asking how we feel about Section 8. I'll let you field that one, Joe, because I'm a realtor.
I don't have any Section 8 properties. I know people that, investors that have Section 8 tenants right now they're not worrying about their rent being paid because Section 8 is covering most, if not all, of the rent. The reason why I don't do Section 8 is because, I've invested in areas that not a lot of people are, renting Section 8. So when I said 40210, 40211, and 40212, those are high Section 8 areas. I just don't have investments over there. And I know that Section 8, from what I've heard from people, is that if your property doesn't pass a Section 8 inspection, it's really hard to get them back out. And they really nitpick every little thing on the property to approve you to get the funding for Section 8. I just have never done it. Not to say I would never do it, but right now, the stage I'm in, that's not what I'm focusing on.
And there was another issue, and Mike Butler talks about this a lot, is we had this, so on a side note, Mike Butler wrote the book Landlording on Autopilot. And so him and his wife, Beth Butler, obviously, they property manage in our market. Brandon Turner calls it one of the top 10 must-read books for all new investors. We have them managing in our market. So when I hosted a happy hour with David Green out in California, not this November, but the past November, we brought property management, we brought title, and we brought a lender, and we brought $37 million in off-market deals. So it's awesome to have such a great guy in our market. His average tenant stay is 6 years. Guys, that's insane. Think about all the overhead that cuts out. It's just nice to not have to worry about things. But Section 8, Mike Butler was talking about how it used to be really awesome. People were kind of taking advantage of the system. And then they were too loose and they audited it, and we lost a lot of Section 8. And so now they're really tight on things, and the inspections are expensive. They'll come out, ding you for something. Then they'll have to come out and re-inspect. You have to pay for the re-inspection. Well, how many inspections do you think are going on right now? None. And it stinks because we have a lower income shortage of rentals. So it either needs to loosen up. I mean, and then they're trying to do all the new ordinance. It's crazy, guys. But everything's on the back burner right now because there's so many other things going on. But Section 8, I mean, it is nice to have that peace of mind right now. But yeah. Let's see. Eric wants to know if Louisville's awesome. You're not wrong. It sure is. Okay, so guys, I'm going to be transparent with you though. For my out-of-state people, in the last 4 weeks, I've lost 6 deals, and it was all my out-of-state people basically because they lost funding. Republic Bank isn't doing any commercial loans right now. I mean, we've already talked about Chase raising their credit score to 700. Frank posted that article yesterday. Well, it's tightening up. I mean, it's going to be good in the long run. I mean, there being 25% less realtors is only going to be only good for the realtors that are, making plays.
Hey, to go off that, Rob, with people backing out of deals, like we talked about, like I wholesale as well. So what we're doing is and for anybody that's, buying, if you're buying from a wholesaler, you should just expect this now because of all the uncertainties. Wholesalers are requiring a larger earnest money deposit now. We had a property that we're wholesaling, supposed to be closing this Friday, but we had a $5,000 earnest money deposit on it. It's a fourplex, and our buyer tried backing out a week before closing. And we said, hey, you can back out, but we're going to keep that $5,000. So that $5,000 really kept him in the deal, and it keeps people more motivated to close the deal because there's a lot of uncertainty, and people are going to try to back out deals. So if any of you out-of-state investors are looking to buy from wholesalers, just expect a little bit more earnest money because there's a lot on the line for wholesalers as well. Because if their buyer backs out, they have a timeline on their contract. So if they miss out on that contract now because the buyer backed out, then they're kind of screwed too unless they can get an extension.
Well, yeah, and the cool thing is, like, with the uncertainty, a lot of the wholesalers are able to get a longer time frame, which has been nice.
Yeah.
I know the Branch brothers are shooting for that 6 months, which just seems ridiculous. John, I did talk about the Louisville Network, the LouisvilleNetwork.com. So the way it works, guys, they submit the deal. I don't know anything about these deals. Like, I get calls about them all the time, but I literally know nothing. All I know is what you know. So usually I just have a combo. I can give it to you. You can go check it out or send your GC or your boots on the ground. But I never know anything about these properties. I feel bad, but, like, there's just too many of them. Okay, so Troy's saying multifamily deals are going to be tough to come by. Price per door is extremely high. Right now, price per door is extremely high. I mean, it's been harder to find anything. But if you can find something below $40K per door, you should probably buy it, in my opinion, because everything keeps on going. Mason, we need to talk about the app. It's really cool. John wants me to roll. He wants – I don't – okay, wait. Jonathan, you want Joe to role play as a wholesaler? Because I don't make calls. Okay, Mason, the course is called Believe Investment Group. With Frank Miller, if you look him up, he's all over the place. Do I have a link? I can find one. Tom,
If anybody wants a basic cold calling script, you can shoot me an email. I'll send you one.
Yeah,
it's just a basic one. It's just obviously you want to cater it towards your own type of, the way you talk.
Yeah.
But I can send you the one that I have if you'd like.
All right, guys, I got to be transparent. It's giving me the 5-minute warning again, and I have 34 messages I haven't ran through. So I'm going to try to go through these. We can always do another one of these. I think this has been fun. I like that we're talking a little bit more. So we can set up another one. I don't know. It's Tuesday. I thought it was Thursday. So maybe we can do one on Thursday.
Hey, Troy asked, how many of your private lenders have paused lending with Corona? I haven't had any private lenders pause lending. I've heard of hard money lenders pause their lending and requiring more money down. But the two hard money lenders that I use, they're still lending, and I haven't heard anything. They haven't told me that I need to put more money down in any properties that we buy.
Gosh. Okay, Tom, your question's really good, but it's thorough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just copy and paste it, and then I will get back to you on that with Joe, because it's a lot of questions about underwriting. I think it's a lot of questions people will want to know, but this timer, guys, we did not have a timer yesterday, so timer must be a new thing today. I'll talk to Eric, George, and see if we can use the create account maybe for the next one. I don't know. This is supposed to be more factual, but it's self-serving a little bit. Okay, so on a side note, guys, I guess how you have houses being tax assessed, they're not reassessing tax assessments this year, at least is what I read in the Courier Journal. So that should be nice. Okay.
Oh, don't make this mistake. I made a rookie mistake when we bought our duplex. So we bought it for 171. It appraised for 185 when we bought it. And then we got a letter from the city, the local PVA, asking what the value of our property was. And me being an idiot, not knowing, I sent them the 185 appraisal. So that's what we get taxed at now. We could have gotten taxed at 171, but so don't make that rookie mistake.
See, that would be a nice short, sweet story for tomorrow's call.
That's true.
The same problem. I mean, I want a better story from you. I think you're gonna have something more fun. Okay, so is it Gugu? Guo? He's asking for more details about VA driving for dollars. Gugu, I just recommend you go to YouTube on that. But there's like a lot in like bigger cities, they're doing it, and it's really cool. I mean, you can have VAs in the Philippines or whatever doing this for you, and they don't have to. It's pretty awesome. Jonathan Farber, I mean, if Joe was calling you after looking at your house. Okay. We can do a role play sometime. We're at like down to 3 minutes. Lightning round. You're funny, Eric. All right. I'll reach out to you, Mason. Joe, what is your email?
I just put it in the comments.
Oh, one of those 40 messages I haven't read yet.
Yeah.
Our money lenders that are still lending, SurePoint Equity still lending, Mortgage Man or M&M Lending's, Mike Ballot still lending, Chris McCarty's still lending. They're just analyzing the deals, and like they're so well versed and familiar with the market. Like they'll be able to save you from yourself if you get handed a deal and some terrible comps.
Also, there's another lender, hard money lender. If you're looking to, branch out and get a pre-approval from any hard money lender here, there's one called Annex Capital.
Oh, Troy got some. They're awesome.
They have a really cool product for wholesale deals as well. So.
Wow, guys, I think I got through the lightning round. I didn't answer those 2 questions, but
for any wholesale deals, John Sherwood asked, do I have a mailing list for my wholesale deals? I do email blasts, and then I also will send them out through Rob's
at the same
global
price
network as well. Yeah.
So you'll see it. Guys, thanks for joining me once again. So sorry about all these technical difficulties. I had no idea they were bringing this back, but it's really smart on Zoom because everyone's so accustomed to using it. Now it's like, hey, you want to pay after that 40 minutes? So anyway, thanks for coming. We had people from Dallas. We had people from Chicago. We had people from New York. We had people from California. I think I'm forgetting some other places, but thanks for coming, guys. And wealth of knowledge. So great to see you guys. And we'll see you soon. Stay safe. Don't be a stranger if you need anything. We're here.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye, guys. See ya.